it's hard for you too. I've been working hard for me. I can't do my job and yours too. That's not my job. That's not my job.
Let me know y'all ain't here.
That's not my job. That's not my job. I've been working all my life. Right now I'm working on my life. When you don't learn that lesson, then you gon' go through that twice. The repetition's vivid. Once your frequency on Christ. That's Christ energy, not Christianity. Yeah, I lost religion, but I found my sanity. Yeah, talking to myself while at my vanity. Like
welcome in. Drop something in the chat. Let me know you here. Let me know you can hear my audio. You know that one time I was just on here yapping and y'all couldn't hear nothing. Let me know if y'all can hear me.
In the Middle East and shit. Yeah, but 12 shooting around here can't call the police for shit. Yeah, man, they shooting up schools. Gotta check on my niece and shit. Now I'm losing my rights, like damn it, I ain't vote for this. Red hats and throat shots and Nazis and terrorists. Groceries.
Let me know you in here who's tried.
Imports and tariffs. And I remember when the towers fell, they said fear the Arabs.
Audio is good, yes. Thank you, Iris. Happy Sunday to everybody. Yes, this is my music. I actually got a performance coming up at this festival in Athens, Georgia. It's called AdFest. I'll be headlining the main stage on that Sunday, June 28th with my band. This is my hip hop, but I got an album out that's like all live band. My band is amazing. Shout out to them. If you didn't know, yes, I'm an artist. I love music. Welcome in. Hey, listen, I'm so excited about this Rookie of the Year conversation. We're gonna get into it. I'm letting everybody trickle in right now. I'm gonna let my song rock, and then after that, we're gonna get into it. I'm so excited about that Aces game. Listen. If you love basketball, then that Aces versus Minnesota Lynx game was everything that you love to see.
That's not my job.
I'm gonna let people trickle on in here. Hey, it's time. It's time, Hoops Tribe. Listen, first of all, I just have to say, when the Aces are playing Aces basketball, when they are moving the ball through passes, when they're relocating to their spots, everybody's in sync, and when the defense is on a string, they play the most beautiful basketball in the league. I don't care. They are the best team in the league when they look like how they look against the Minnesota Lynx. And when you look at this roster, it's just a herd of goats. It's like, I can name a few players, and I'm sure somebody has an explanation on why these are the best players of all time. You got Jackie Young, Notre Dame legend. Chelsea Gray, Duke legend. Chelsea Gray. She's shooting 65% from three on 23 attempts across 2 games. The Aces are playing good teams. Like, this isn't a talent disparity. There is not a talent disparity in the WNBA anymore. I don't want to hear those conversations because a lot of people talked about that. But no, all of these teams are playing high-level basketball, and we're getting it in different varieties, right? Portland is a different type of good basketball than Minnesota. The Aces snapped an 8-0 Minnesota win streak on the road. And then if any team was going to do it, the Aces were going to do it. But getting back to the herd and goats conversation, because I'm not done with that. So you got Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, the Asia Wilson, the GOAT of all GOATs. You got Kennedy Carter coming off of the bench, and she's a GOAT. And, you know, we can have the GOAT conversation because for me personally, I feel like we've expanded the definition of the word GOAT, right? Like, Yes, there's a greatest of all time, like of all the goats. But man, I say my coach back in Little League is a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I know so many GOATs that aren't even popular. Like, and I'm sure y'all have too, but I think we're not even giving the younger generations of or not generations, the coaches that coach the younger generations as much credit as they need to, because that's where the foundation is built. So I say I got goats back from Little League. But all that to say, the Aces are a team that's hurting goats, and it's like, how do you stop that? Over the broadcast, Shell Reeve is like, you can't take a lot away from the Aces. The Aces are constantly making you have to make tough decisions. And I don't think we consider that when we're looking at this game, because I'm seeing a lot of chatter about Olivia Miles. She only had one assist. And it's like, because the Aces were forcing Minnesota to have to make multiple passes to get a look. If you look over the course of Minnesota's games and their wins, and especially the ones where Olivia Miles is getting her best passes off, it's because she was able to slice open the defense by getting downhill. Yes, Olivia Miles had moments where she turned the corner with that pizza parlay, which is unstoppable, by the way. And it's annoying. It's like, in all these games, Minnesota's like 10-3. In all these games, nobody has figured out how to completely stop that. But the Aces did their best, because once Olivia Miles turns the corner, it's almost impossible to catch. You have to foul her. So she wasn't able to get that as easily as she has been in other games. And the majority of her assists, I don't have the AI data or whatever they use to track that, but so I'm just spitballing based off of my eye test. The majority of Olivia Miles's assists come off of her dribble drive actions. And the Aces, with that second layer of defense, what we call help defense, were able to really slow that down. So this was a new defense that Olivia had to figure out. And I say she did a damn good job, right? She had 29 points. Like, okay, one assist, six turnovers. This is a valid six turnovers, because you also have to think about the one-on-one defense is different, because the Aces have the goats of guards on their team. And when we're just talking about, we're stripping basketball away and we're just talking about athleticism, physique. Jackie Young is a difficult defender because of how strong she is. So there were moments where Olivia went from Chelsea Gray to Jackie Young. Both of these physiques, just brute strength. These are strong guards with size. Olivia has had a size advantage in some of these matchups. So all the way around, Olivia had a welcome to the W moment by being introduced to this Aces team while the Aces team was playing their best basketball. And to her defense, she played a damn good game. I mean, she took what the defense was giving her. She couldn't, some of those passes made it to her teammates. They missed a shot. Her one assist was to Courtney Williams in the deep corner for a three off of a dribble drive kick from the baseline. I say she took what the defense was giving her. She had to create. We've seen games from Chelsea Gray, and this was an interesting matchup because she got to play Chelsea Gray. And I said before the game, if you're following me on Instagram, if you're following me on Facebook threads, I said that these are two of the most entertaining guards in the league. The most, I don't care. Argue with me. Tell me how Chelsea Gray and Olivia Miles are not the two most entertaining guards in the league, and then we can have a conversation. Otherwise, you just gonna hear me like glaze. And I don't even think it's glazing, it's just the truth. These are two of the most entertaining guards of the league. They have teammates that really support their action and they are in tune. I don't know who's a better duo. You have Natasha Howard and Olivia Miles. You have Chelsea Gray and Asia Wilson. Honestly, I'm going to tell y'all a secret, and this is probably forbidden. I probably shouldn't even say this, but I can't be the only one who's feeling this. So I have to say it. I have to say it. Minnesota is my second favorite team to watch. And I know that I shouldn't be a Minnesota fan because I'm an Aces fan, and that just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like I should be able to say this. But, I have to say it. Minnesota is Minnesota is a fun team to watch. Okay? And I have to give like credit to what Shell Reeve has been able to do with the team that many of us doubted coming into this season. I know I'm not the only one who didn't know what Minnesota was going to look like without Nafisa Collier. Now I'm wondering, like, what is it going to look like with Nafisa Collier? Like, the question has flipped. How well are Nafisa Collier and Natasha Howard going to be able to play off of each other? And I think that if they can play well off of each other, Minnesota and Aces would be a great team to watch in a battle of 7. I think that, I mean, what you got the younger generation of point guard. And I know Chelsea Gray had to come into this game thinking of that. Oh, they calling her the point guard. Let me learn you something real quick, Rook. Let me show you what it looked like after years and years of playing in this league. And man, what a game to have going against a player that you admire so much if you're Olivia Miles. Like, this game was just one of the best games for so many reasons on so many different levels. And you can have this same conversation that you're having about Olivia Miles and Chelsea Gray when you're talking about Shell Reeve and Becky Hammon. Shell Reeve, coach of the year. Most of the GMs believe that. But here you have Becky Hammon, who has been able to do the unimaginable in 4 years. Like 3 championships in like 4 years. Come on, who doing that? And then on top of that, she is pushing other coaches out into the ecosystem. We have 2 new coaches. I mean, and it's arguable. People have their opinions about either, but Natalie Nakase and Tyler Marsh are products from the Coach Hammond system. So I think it's something to say about what she's been able to do. And I can't lie, I love seeing Nola Henry next to Becky Hammon on the bench. And Nola Henry just has this presence about her. Like, she's so locked in. Like, she sees everything. I saw them having a conversation on the bench when Melissa Smith fouled, and everybody was looking around like, oh, like, how's that a foul? But Nola Henry was like, nah, she got her on the, she motioned like she got her on the arm or whatever. And I'm like, man, these 2 basketball minds together. Y'all, are y'all geeking out like me? Like, the WNBA is just giving us best basketball in the world for so many reasons. Oh, and since I'm talking about, best basketball, shout out to the New York Knicks. Now they have matched the New York Liberty. It had to be. I felt like they were like, hell no, the New York Liberty can't be bringing championships back to the city, and we not bringing championships back to the city. So shout out to the Knicks for matching the New York Liberty's energy and bringing a championship back. There's been a lot of conversation about Becky Hammond's comments on Jalen Brunson. I won't get into that because I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't really watch men's basketball in general. So I can't tell you how, outlandish that statement was for Becky Hammon to make in the first place, but I know that they're bringing coach up in those NBA conversations. And I think that's just good for the game because at the end of the day, it's all basketball, and once we start normalizing cross conversations from the leagues, cross conversations between men and women about the game of basketball, the more it's just going to grow the game and equalize this thing. But I want to talk about the decision down the stretch for the Aces to run with Stephanie Talbot in the lineup. Some people wanted Nalissa Smith. I believe that decision was based on defense. And Stephanie Talbot is a little bit more agile when it comes to guarding off the dribble. And the Aces wanted to take away that specifically from Minnesota in those final moments. So I can understand not rolling with Nalissa Smith, but then you sacrifice, the rebounds because Nalissa has been clean up crew for the Aces on so many moments. And it's like she's doing that. Yes, she's getting rebounds. First of all, that's not an easy thing to do. We talk about just rebounds because people like to, use that as a ploy to somehow discredit players, but rebounding is a skill. And Alyssa Smith does offensive rebounding very well. And it's very important because of the supporting cast that she has with all of the scoring threats around the perimeter that she has. Her being able to secure offensive rebounds changes the game, it changes the landscape for the Aces. Like, are we recognizing her giving second, third chance opportunities for Asia Wilson, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd, Kennedy Carter? Any combination of those players increases the probability for the Aces to score, and they have the best scorers in the league. So you give up a lot by running with Stephanie Talbot for defense, and some will argue, is that worth it? It got the win. I think that it was worth it. At this point, I'm not really questioning Becky Hammond or the Aces calls in the final moments of a game. They just are like damn near undefeated when it comes to that. And speaking of like records, I didn't realize that Minnesota had won so many games against the Aces as of recently. So they're like, well, what was it? The Aces only won like one game in the past 7. So now they're like 2-8 against the Minnesota Lynx. And that just feels crazy. I was not expecting to hear that stat over the broadcast. I'm assuming that that's true because that's what happened over the broadcast. And I was like, wow. But when you look at the glue-like players and the supporting cast, I talked about Nia Coffey. The Aces had Kennedy Carter coming off of the bench. It's good to see her back in the rotation after she missed some games with an injury. I think that Kennedy is still finding her place within the Aces and getting her rhythm back after sitting out a couple of games, because even though she scored those 2 quick buckets back to back against the Lynx, I felt a lot of her shots after those was a little out of the flow of the offense, and it wasn't the same type of ball movement that the Aces were seeing with that first unit. Like, they were really moving the ball, and with Jewel Lloyd. And I love Jewel Lloyd has found her place on this Aces team. She's spotting up. She get the if she get the catch on the perimeter, she putting up. And I love the motion of the shot. It's like she is shooting just, it feels like she is shooting just that. But Kennedy has to work more in the flow of the offense. Yes, she can go get a bucket when she needs to, but it can't be disruptive all the time. Like, it has to be a balance. And I think she's still learning through that. But Cheyenne Parker Tyus, man, how good was she in this? Like, she was so in sync with Chelsea Gray. She was the recipient of some strong passes off of some back cuts. Then she knocked down a 3. But that fadeaway shot over Tierra McCowan, it did something to me. And then the energy in her, the emotion in her face after she hit that going back down the court. And that's when she followed up with that walk-up 3. Man, like Cheyenne Parker Tice, and we have to commend her like conditioning right now. I think that she's in some of her best shape, especially when I'm thinking about just her with the Atlanta Dream. And I felt like her and Tanisha Wright, there was a lack of trust in that, in her ability and what she was able to do, it felt like. So now she's getting that green light with the Aces to be able to be who she is off of the bench. She's in some of her best shape. It was just really good basketball to watch from Cheyenne Parker Tyson. If they can continue to get that, she's going to be an X factor as the season progresses. Now, when it comes to post players right now, I feel like Asia Wilson, Natasha Howard, and Jess Shepard are the best posts in the league right now. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Who are you? Who's on your radar when it comes to post player? Because watching this game and seeing Natasha Howard and Asia Wilson go to work and then go to work on each other, like the defensive matchup was just as intense as the offense. You know, Natasha Howard is that former defensive player of the year. So she took that matchup against Asia personally. I will say Asia had some moments where she really cooked. Asia was working Natasha Howard, but there is that a bit of a height advantage. And I still feel like with that height advantage, Natasha Howard was aggressive inside. It's like, for me, I'm shocked, even though I should not be shocked, but I am that Natasha Howard is playing so well with the Minnesota Lynx right now. Like, she's this is MVP conversation. Like, why not talk about Natasha Howard? I think the Lynx right now have two players that we could be talking about in an MVP conversation. And Olivia Miles, I'm still on that. I don't know why we wouldn't consider Olivia Miles a MVP with what she's doing right now. I mean, we talked about it a couple of years ago with the rookie guard, whose name I will not say because I don't have time today. But I'm saying, if we was on that 2 years ago, we got to be on that with Olivia Miles because she is doing it, and it's unbelievable. But Natasha Howard is my top post. Like, I've been saying 2A and 2B for her and Jess Shepard right now. Obviously, Asia Wilson number one. But after this performance, I don't know. I think I'm more so leaning Natasha Howard and maybe put Jess Shepard in that 3 spot. But what are your thoughts? Who are your top posts right now? Because I can't not talk about the Atlanta Dream and what Angel Reese has been doing with the Dream. And I think it's so funny. I'm not going to stay on this too long. But I think it's so funny how people are framing Angel is doing the best after the breakup, talking about her leaving the Chicago Sky and doing so well with the Dream. I just want to say I find that entertaining. I'm not gonna stay on that. I'm not gonna stay on it though. But I think Angel Reese is doing such great things in Atlanta, and I don't know if we're talking enough about it because this is not the same dream team from last season. And I thought they were damn good last season. Inconsistent, and they're still trying to find consistency. But what they're able to do now, as far as stay locked in, keep up their intensity, I think that they have made improvements from last season to now. And I think a lot of that we have to give credit to Angel Reese for because her intensity. And now she has to find that balance because the referees, I feel like they trying to, you know, take it down a peg. They're calling her for some texts. I do think that she has to rein in some of the celebration, not really rein it in, but direct the celebration to someone else. Like the too small, when she hit the micro, just instead of looking at the player who you calling too small, do it to the audience. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll change the energy behind it and they won't call it unsportsmanlike, whatever, whatever. But I think all that aside, Angel Reese is playing her best basketball in Atlanta. And what she's able to do off of the rebound, securing those offensive rebounds. We talked about that in that Aces matchup with how important that is. And Alyssa Smith is doing a little bit of what Angel Reese is doing as far as like offensive boards because she has so many weapons. When you have Ron Howard and Alicia Gray hitting the way that they can hit, and we've seen that, especially in that first half of the Liberty matchup. The Atlanta Dream played their best basketball that I've seen them play in the season. Some of the best basketball, I won't say, but some of the best basketball that they played this season in the first half against the New York Liberty. If they could have been able to keep that up going into the second half, I think it would have been a different ball game. But first of all, I just have to say from the jump, I was like, damn. New York Liberty isn't that big, but against New York, it really showed. It really showed how small they were from every position. And that is going to make the difference. But they were able to really weather that storm in the first half. I think that the ball movement and the spacing, something that I've critiqued Atlanta on throughout this season, it looked great. They were on the perimeter with presence. So if they can do that for a complete game, that's going to work for them. I also felt like the rotations, when we're talking about subs, it looked great. I love when it's time for Izzy and Tahina Pow Pow to come in because they bring something to the lineup that Jordan Canada does not do. And it's not saying that it's bad. It's just a different look for them. I think that Atlanta has a faster pace. I don't know the numbers if this is actually true, but what it feels like with my eye test, Atlanta has a faster pace when Tahina and Isabel Borlase are on the court. And I also like the way that Izzy and Tahina can get their buckets, because there's times where I want Jordan Canada to shoot more. I don't think that Jordan Canada is giving us everything consistently offensively, and it's in her bag to do so, but sometimes she's too passive for me. Like in that New York Liberty game specifically, there were a few moments, I can't say how many, but a few, maybe a little more than a few, where she could have put up right in that mid range. Izzy and Tahina have that left hand, same foot layup, awkward style layup. It's unorthodox. People don't know actually when they're about to spot up for the layup on lock. That's their move. They also can hit that little floater. They can do in that short midi range what Jordan Canada is not doing right now. And I know it's not a fact of whether Jordan can do it, because there's been games where she has done those things, but it's just not on a consistent basis. So when Izzy and Tahina are in, Atlanta feels faster. And I like what they look like, whether it's with Alicia Gray or Ron Howard. It gives Alicia and Ron a different look, because if they're penetrating strong to the basket and Ron relocates where she needs to, she's going to get that kick out and she can knock down for three, because we know Ron going to shoot a three. We know Ron wants to shoot a three. Yes, Sierra, Izzy and Powell can hit the post. And I'm going to put that up because I think that that is one of the most important things, because one of the biggest critiques that I have for Atlanta right now is they're not hitting the post enough. They're not doing it enough. And I've talked about in another video how Pow Pow has this ingrained in her with her time at South Carolina, because Dawn Staley has it figured out. And I've been thinking about this as this season has gone on, and just watching different teams and thinking about what makes a successful team and just reflecting on what I see in the college game. Dawn Staley has it figured out, because the women's game, the girls' game is still very much an inside out game. Teams are going to only be as good as their post play is. And I'm going to say that again for the people in the back and the people who just tuned in. A team is only going to be as good as their post play is. The best teams in the league have the best players in the post and forward position. So when Atlanta can finally get to the point where they're able to hit their post consistently and also hit from three, that is going to complete their offense. Right now, they're still figuring each other out. And now I think they figured it out. Honestly, the first half of that New York Liberty game, I think that Atlanta looked as good as they're supposed to look. Now it's about doing it for 4 quarters, because we got to understand, defense and rebounding is a will and a want to, but baby, it's also an athletic ability. You have to be able to withstand for 40 WNBA minutes. That's different. Every team can't do that night in and night out. They have to build up to that. And I think that we also don't account for the mental toll, the mental fatigue that players experience game to game. So when you put in all of those factors, Atlanta is now in a good place. I think they know what they want to look like. Now they have to do what they repeatedly need to do in order to be great, because that's what it's about, repetition. Now they have to build up to the point where they can play 4 quarters, because what I saw in the first quarter is what Atlanta should look like. Well, the first half against the New York Liberty is what Atlanta should look like. We're going to get another look at Atlanta to see if they can get that consistency going in this game against Toronto today in about 30 minutes. So we'll be able to see. What are your thoughts on Atlanta besides the post play? What do you think Atlanta needs in order to be championship contenders? And then we still have to account for the fact that Bree Jones has to come back. I'm very interested to see how Bree and Angel connect. I like what I'm seeing from Angel and Nas. I do want them to have more actions, and we're still very young in the season too. I also want to say that we're very young in the season, and teams aren't going to give us everything because they want to have some element of surprise as we go into playoffs. So maybe we just aren't seeing every single action that Atlanta has up their sleeve, but I do want to see them be more intentional with getting the ball to the post. Right now, we're seeing a lot of Nas and Angel on the perimeter, and they get to the post, but it's not as frequent. I want to see more intentionality any and every time that Medina Akat comes into the game. I want to see a play ran for her immediately. I want that to be what Atlanta adopts, because teams don't have 6'7s all the time. You know what I'm saying? The Liberty got Hanshu, and she's impacting their play so tremendously. So Atlanta has to think they need their tallest player with a very high ceiling to be ready when it comes playoff times. You gotta get that. You gotta do that now. You gotta get her ready now. She needs looks immediately. She needs to feel confident seeing a couple go down. But I really like what I'm seeing from Okai in the limited minutes that she's getting. I wasn't even ready for her game to translate as much as it did so quickly. But now that we're seeing it and we're seeing her confidence get built, I love what Akai is looking like when she's in the game with Angel. Anytime Angel is in the game with another post, especially one that has that size advantage, she knows how to lob the passes. I think that Pow Pow and Angel are the two best players that the Atlanta Dream have when we're talking about getting the ball to the post. So they have to find more actions that involve that, because I think what they're getting now isn't even necessarily intentional. Like, I think that they're just making plays. Honestly, I think Angel is just making plays and we're seeing it happen, but I don't know if these are actions that are actually being called when we're seeing Angel get the ball to the post. Do I think Carl will sit Angel or Nas when Bree come back? I don't know, because I can't say that I understand Atlanta's rotations completely right now, but I hope that he doesn't sit either of them when Bree comes back immediately. I like when coaches are able to kind of ease players coming back in from injury into the starting lineup. I also think that that builds a stronger relationship between coach and player when a player has been able to prove what they can do. Like, they've been winning with both Nas and Angel in the starting lineup. That's what's been working. I think that players can lose trust if a coach can switch up that quickly. I think at this point, Bree will have to prove what she can do in the starting lineup. I don't know if she necessarily earns it just based off of last season. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. I would hope that neither Angel or Nas are sat when Bree returns, but over time, of course, that could happen. Now, if that does happen, I think you sit Nas. If they have to sit one, I think you sit Nas. She knows how to come off of the bench. She's done that before. I think it's a skill in to be able to sit on the sidelines, assess what your team needs, and come in and provide that. So I think that Nas has that built into her game already. I think you sit Nas, you let Angel set the tone, because she's an energy, she's a culture player, right? So you let her do that. You let her be who she is. She stays in the starting lineup, and then you get what you get when Nas comes in supporting off of the bench. So looking at the New York Liberty, I know that they had moments where they struggled to start the season, but now they're very much so contenders, and they're leading the conference, the Eastern Conference right now in the Commissioner's Cup. And I like what this coach is doing as far as letting Maureen Johannes just be this wizard. We didn't really see her consistently under Sandy Brondello. Like, I feel like Sandy had Maureen on a leash. It could have been the right thing to do. Maybe Maureen has grown, and now we're seeing a bit of that IQ expanded in this environment with more responsibility. But I really like the freedom that Maureen Johannes has, man. She just will spot up on a shot and you like, man, what the hell? Maureen, for real? And it go in. And I'm like, it blows me because the Liberty are not one of my team. Yeah, shout out to them, for bringing the championship back to their city or whatever. But the Liberty are not my team, so they're annoying. Maureen Johannes is annoying, but I can't say as a basketball lover, I do enjoy what I'm seeing from Maureen Johannes in this, atmosphere with this new coaching system. I'm very interested when Sabrina Ionescu comes back because we're seeing this team play this well without Sab. Like, what does that say? We're getting that a lot. Like, I don't even think we're bringing it up in the same conversation, but the Minnesota Lynx are kind of experiencing the same thing as the New York Liberty in the fact that one of their heavy hitting players hasn't played. They've been without one of their key players and they're playing this well. Again, don't talk to me about talent disparities in the league when we have this happening before our eyes right now. Yes, bench players can still dominate. See Dewana Bonner, Kennedy Carter. I'm going to throw that up on the screen because what? When teams can say they have Dewana Bonner, Kennedy Carter coming off of the bench, how crazy is that? It's just insane. So with the New York Liberty, with all the size that they have, how do you're going 7 games against that potentially. If the New York Liberty get back to the finals, you're going 7 games against all of this size. How do you beat that consistently? You got Jonquel Jones, who can just go beyond the arc and just spot up at any moment. And then she can also get you inside. How do you guard that? The New York Liberty have Benijah Laney Benijah. The New York Liberty have Benijah Laney Hamilton coming off of the bench. The Liberty is a team we should be concerned about. The Aces have them coming up. I'm very interested to see what the Aces look like against New York and how they're able to compensate for some of those size advantages that the Liberty have. Leonie Phoebish, all of these players on New York can shoot beyond the arc. They can get it inside. This is a team that is hard to beat. And for them changing coaches, I think that this says a lot about the players. Like, it says a lot about the players, and it also says a lot about what this coach has been able to come in to do to get this team on the same page. And I mean, it's their core. Like, they still brought back Jonquel Jones, Breanna Stewart, Stab, Benijah Laney Hamilton, Leonie Phoebish. Like, that's a lot of the same players, but a lot of the players on the New York Liberty are not from that same team. They are really doing something completely different. They're working in a new system. So for them to be able to do that, to still play this caliber of basketball, like right now, like, man, that's crazy. Like, do I have any Liberty fans on the feed? Like, what are y'all feeling like after this Sandy Brondello changeover? Because that was a shocker. Like, man, the lady just won a championship and now she's out the door. That, I know that had to be, a little bit shocking, a little bit heartbreaking for fans. But now you're seeing the outcome. You're still seeing your team play at a high level. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about what the New York Liberty are doing? Oh, Michael doesn't think they have an answer for the Aces guards. I mean, there's not many teams that do have an answer for the Aces guards. What teams have to hope for is that they have an off game. That, maybe somebody is in a slump. And even when a player goes in a slump, you still never know what you're going to get from the Aces. I mean, the Aces had Chelsea Gray hit like the first 9 points, have the first 12 points in like whatever, what it was, it 16 points. She had 12 of the aces, 16 points at one point in the first quarter. But on any given day, that could be Asia Wilson. Like we've seen Asia Wilson be the only player on the Aces team carrying to start the game. You've seen that with Jackie Young. You really never know who's going to be that player for the Aces. Who can guard that? Like Shell Reeves said, you can't take everything away from the Aces. You can't. So you just have to hope that somebody has a off game. Do you think Suge Sutton will fit in with Dallas? I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan of Suge Sutton's game. I'm not. So I don't know if she would fit with Dallas just because I like what Dallas's guards look like. But I guess I don't know what the Odyssey Sims situation is right now. Is Odyssey Sims still hurt? Let me look that up because I have not watched Dallas in a couple of games. So I don't know what that injury report looks like. And Dallas will play the Aces on Monday. So let's see. Do they have an injury report out for? Yes, Odyssey Sims is still out with an ankle, but her estimated return is June 20th. So I don't know if Dallas would need Suge Sutton. I don't know how she fit into their system because Dallas wants scorers. And Suge wasn't a consistent scorer. She's a good passer. Now, if a team wants to bring in Suge to help settle down some rookie guards or second player guards that have the potential to lead a team and you just want that veteran presence, kind of like a Mystics teams or I would say Seattle, but Natisha Heidemann is that veteran for the Seattle Storm. So, Suge would be best as a supporting cast. She would be a supporting cast guard with Dallas, but I don't see them having room. I want to see, if they're gonna bring in Suge Sutton, I would rather see JJ Quinterly. She hasn't really seen any minutes this season from what I've observed. And I think that she showed us a lot of potential in that rookie season. I felt like she had a good rookie season. And she just needs opportunity. I know it's going to be hard to come by with the stacked guard lineup that Dallas has. We have to think Dallas has Paige Buckets, who's conditioned. She's in shape. She's playing a lot of minutes. AZ Fudd, Arike Agumbawale, Isaiah James, and they can go with smaller looks with all of that guard selection. Then they have Maddie. She's a bit smaller of a post. Jess Shepard. They can really run. They can go small with Alicia Clark. I think that Dallas is in a good place with where they are. I really like Dallas. They're another one of my favorite teams. Right now, I would say it's the Aces, Minnesota Lynx, and Dallas, and Atlanta. I love Atlanta. That's my home team. But they be frustrating me sometimes. But I think we're getting to a point. We're getting to a point. I just get so frustrated with Atlanta sometimes that I just feel like they should be better. And I just want them to be better. I want a lot for the city of Atlanta, and I want Atlanta to one day, bring the city of Atlanta a championship. That would be huge. Atlanta needs a championship next. New York got their championship. They got it on the men's side. They got it on the women's side. Atlanta needs that for both the men's and the women's team. We need a championship. We need a win. We need a win. Atlanta is just too good of a city, has too much culture. It's bringing too much. So that's why I have my gripes with Atlanta because it's personal. It's personal. And I have to say, like, I critique people or whatever, but it's all love. It's always all love with every single player, even if I'm not that fond of them. Even if I'm not that fond of them, it's still all love because I just want to see the game grow. I want to see good basketball. I want to see everybody be the best that they can be. I'm really Coach C. Like, I'm trying to coach you up. Even if it's tough love sometimes, it's all love all the time because I love all y'all. I love everybody that's helping to push the game forward. The Hoops Tribe, y'all staying consistent with me. I know it's been tough to follow me. Like, I haven't gone live on a Sunday in a while. I got a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? It's all love for everybody that always support. It's all love for all of these women, for giving us such high level entertainment is such a sacrifice. Like, I hope that no one out there listening forgets this, that they are sacrificing their lives to be the best athletes in the world, because that's what they are. They're the best athletes in the world. The WNBA is going to continue to expand, and we're going to continue to get players from all over the world. I'm in support of that. And I know there's a lot of conversation about that, about international players coming in. I do think that there should be some rule changes with things during the draft, but make no mistake, I love that the game is growing, the league is growing, that we're getting players coming in from everywhere. That just means everybody's going to have to get better. It's on us. We're going to have to get better. Youth coaches out there, we're going to have to get better from the start. First of all, we have to get to the point where we're teaching better defensive principles. We're going to have to get to the point where we are teaching positionless basketball. A lot of what we're seeing from post play on the higher level is because there's a difference in how girls basketball is coached when it comes to taller girls. Like, taller girls are able to get away with a lot of things because they're tall and they don't always get fully developed. We got to stop that. We know we want a better product coming out to the WNBA. We got to start it on this level. It takes all of us, y'all. I love all of y'all. Yes, Hoops Tribe. Hey, that money does change. Gwendolyn, listen, the money is changing everything. Basketball from all levels is able to generate some type of income for people. Like, this is a lot of people way out of poverty, y'all. This is a way to break generational curses, y'all. Like, this is our game. And I know a lot of the conversation, and I'm talking to a specific group of people right now. And if you hear me, you hear me. If you know, you know. They can't take this game from us. They can't. They can do whatever they want. They can try to shut us out. They can do whatever they want. We're still going to be great. We still great, y'all. They can't take this game away from us. Listen, we're going to start producing even better coaches. This time in history is going to be one of the few times where we're going to say that there's no black women as a head coach in the WNBA. That's changing. I see it. I see it for us. We're getting better, y'all. I love y'all. We're about to get ready for this game coming up. The Atlanta Dream are going to be playing the Toronto Tempo, Sandy Brondello. And, I'm rooting for Sandy Brondello. I love that she was able to bounce back so quickly. I would love to see the same thing for Noelle Quinn, Coach Teresa Weatherspoon. Good luck to Tanisha Wright, who's going to be heading her alma mater. She's going to be coaching at Penn State. So that's big for Tanisha Wright, being able to continue to prove herself as head coach material. Hey, we have to give the flowers when they're due for the people who are doing the thing right now. I know on the internet, everybody's a critic, but we have to remember, when we're critiquing, we got to show love too. So shout out to everybody doing their thing. We're getting ready for Atlanta Dream, Toronto Tempo. Listen, I'll be back next Sunday, folks, with more Hoops Talk. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Cassie Chantel. Facebook, same thing, Cassie Chantel. Thread, same thing, Cassie Chantel. Hoops Tribe, what are your thoughts? Let's talk hoops.